It's been a year since students were taken out of the classroom and moved to virtual learning environments due to the pandemic. Now, there's concern the switch is causing some to fall behind. Jenna DeLaTorre explains what's being done to try to help students catch up.
While schools and teachers have done their best to help students transition back into the classroom, data shows students have fallen behind since the start of the pandemic. This has sparked conversation among students, parents, and administrators. How do we get them back on track? Over the past year, students across the nation have had to adjust to remote learning. Here in Arizona, some students have been out of the physical classroom for almost a year now. And according to Governor Doug Ducey, the students' grades show the damaging impact the pandemic has had.
I don't mean to sound dramatic, but this has been, like, for everyone, such a hard year.
Dawn Schmidt is a high school history teacher who has been teaching her students virtually. Schmidt says she's done everything she can to help students during this time, but is still fearful of where students may stand academically after the pandemic.
Until we have like an actual benchmark to see, or a baseline to see, okay, where are these kids? What do we actually need to do for them? Then that's going to be another story.
Expect more. Arizona Senior Vice President and Chief Impact Officer Aaron Hart has been working with education administrators and students across the state and feels that with statewide testing, schools will be able to get a more accurate idea as to what their students need.
That's going to give us our first indication at a statewide level of how our students are doing, where those learning gaps are.
The AZM2, previously known as the Arizona Merit Test, will be administered to 3rd through 10th graders. The testing will begin in April, according to an executive order signed by Governor Doug Ducey. From there, Ducey hopes that the data collected will be helpful in constructing further plans to best help the individual student get back on track with their academics.
There are lots of options that they can consider for how to best help students catch up. Summer school is one of those options. Other options might be like additional tutoring or one-on-one interventions, or bring in an additional staff to help. I guess the point is there are a lot of different options that schools could consider. And I think it's best left up to schools and school districts to make those decisions because they know their students best. Even if we did summer school, which could be a great solution for many schools and students, there will likely need to be continued interventions and supports provided to students so that they can get back on grade level. So, this might even take a couple of years for students to really get back on track.
Schmidt is hopeful that with the proper resources and help, students will get back on track both inside the classroom and mentally.
The other piece of this is I think sometimes we forget that even in this crazy world, kids have learned other skills that aren't measurable by tests.
The Arizona Department of Education is working with school districts on how to safely bring students to administer. The testing window has also expanded from 4 to 6 weeks to better accommodate students. In the Broadcast Center, Jenna DeLaTorre, Cronkite News.